Hi, I'm Charlotte, and I'm here to give you some pro tips on SAT prep. So, if you are getting ready for the August SAT exam, which is fast approaching, you might be wondering whether you've done enough prep and what enough prep actually looks like. So, one of the misconceptions about the SATs, and in fact, any standardized test, is that you have to spend a fortune on professional tutoring and all kinds of resources, all kinds of books and online programs to get lots of like practice tests and questions and things. That's not entirely true. The key to doing well on the SATs and probably virtually any other standardized test is actually getting to know the exam. And you don't need to spend hours and hours and hours doing that. What you need to do is need to have a structured approach to how you go about learning about the test and figuring out what areas you need to concentrate on. So one of the best tips with SAT prep is to do a couple of practice tests. So it can be as few as two, it can be maybe three or four if you have time. Don't overdo it. What you want to look at though, when you've got a couple of practice tests under your belt, is there a pattern to the question types that you struggle with? So take the reading section for the SATs, for example. There are question types, and you can look. Most of the practice tests that you do, there will be information about the question type that you're looking at. So there are information and ideas questions, there are craft and structure questions, there are expression of ideas questions, and then there are things about standard English convention. So that's your grammar and sentence structures. And if you go through your answers, what most people find, there are some exceptions to this, and we'll talk about that in another video, but for most people, there is a trend in terms of the types of questions that they find tricky, and they're likely, more than likely, to get wrong. And one of the ways that you can quite easily boost your SAT score, and one of the most effective types of prep that you can do, involves identifying those question types that you struggle with the most, and then concentrating your practice on understanding what are these questions actually testing you on, and then how are they structured. Because SATs are written by people who specialize in writing the SAT, right? That's their main thing. They're not literature specialists, they're not writers, they're concentrating on putting together questions that test very specific things that connect to the SATs and what a college board has decided they want to evaluate, right? Through the exams. So if you can hone in on those question types that you find the most tricky, and you concentrate your practice on those question types, you are going to actually maximize your possibilities of getting a good score, right? Because you're also going to know in the exam itself which question types you need to spend a little bit more time on, and which ones that you need to have maybe a couple of other strategies that you work on under your belt so that you can deploy them in the exam if you come into one of those types of questions and you're like, not entirely sure that this is the right answer. So that's my pro tip for today. Identify question types that you find most challenging and focus your practice on those. That's something you can do right now with like 2 weeks, roughly 2 weeks out from the exam, to really make the most of your prep. Of course, you can also reach out to Eximius Tutors, and we can help you with even just one session of tutoring. Actually, College Board stats show that even a couple of hours of tutoring, in fact, and one session can actually make a difference. Can be really, really, really useful to helping you feel more confident, and the more confident you feel, right, and the more like tips that you have under your belt, the easier it is to do well and get the score that you want. So if you are taking the August SAT, good luck, and feel free to reach out to us. We would love to help.